turns out you can't on a mortgage form say that your dad is actually your husband, and you also can't say that you got a 4-unit property that's actually 5 units. Those are the 3 things that it looks like she did over a long period of time, and yet she had the gall to go after President Trump. You got to be kidding me.
Oh my God.
Letitia James, Mrs. No One is Above the Law. Y'all take a look at this and y'all give me y'all thoughts. The irony here is amazing.
Joining me now, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, House Judiciary Committee Chair. Congressman, now given Letitia James's crusade against Trump, where no benefit, by the way, in that case, no benefit accrued to Trump, and choose this novel application of a fraud statute, shouldn't an investigation go forward here on a fairly straightforward issue?
Well, it sure seems like, and this may be the biggest irony I've ever seen in American politics, that she's now, it looks like she's engaged in the same thing she charged President Trump with. I mean, turns out you can't have your principal residence in Virginia and be the Attorney General of New York. Turns out you can't on a mortgage form say that your dad is actually your husband, and you also can't say that you got a 4-unit property that's actually 5 units. Those are the 3 things that it looks like she did over a long period of time, and yet she had the gall to go after President Trump. You got to be kidding me. So, yeah, I think this is real. We'll see. Her comments so far, she's been kind of quiet. Of course, she does a typical thing the left always does. The left will you know, they'll always accuse us of what they're doing. And the other thing they always do, the left will tell a lie. Trump did something wrong. Big media will report it. Big tech will amplify it. And then if you tell the truth, they call you names. And that's exactly what she did. I think she called President Trump and his administration bullies for simply pointing out that it looks like she lied on these forms, and she did it to get better terms and a better rate on the loans. So she was doing it for personal gain, and you're not supposed to do those kind of things.
No one is above the law. So just to give you guys a quick little reminder of who Letitia James is, let me play this little clip for you guys. Hold on. Here we go. Just so you guys can get a better feel. And so the conversation that I was having the other day was about Donald Trump using the government, right? Weaponizing the government, weaponizing the DOJ. And when you talk to Democrats that can't stand Donald Trump, I don't understand how there's like no recognition, in my opinion, that Joe Biden weaponized the government not only against Donald Trump, his DOJ, but even in the state case with Eric Adams. We know what happened. Eric Adams called out a lot of the sanctuary city stuff, called out them bringing all the migrants to New York City, said that this would destroy New York City. Ew. Sorry to interrupt the video. We got a new challenge. 20,000 by the end of April. We fell short in March, but we're gonna get our goal this month. Thank you all in advance for those that are gonna continue to like, subscribe, maybe even leave some comments and let us know how we're doing. And on that note, let me let y'all get back to the video, and I'll see y'all soon. Ew. And then what happened? He had a case slapped against him, right? He had a case slapped against him. So when you sit back and just can say, well, Donald Trump's, he's weaponizing the government, but you can't even call it out. You can't even connect the dots that are right in front of your face on the other side. What does it say? So this is Letitia James, the person that has, after even Donald Trump won the election. Here you have Donald Trump winning an election, and Letitia James is, remember she did that press conference where she's talking about like, yeah, basically saying like, we're finna go to war with Donald Trump. I won't be bullied. She moves like a bit. All right, let's take a look at the video. Steve wrote, the only thing that is truly systemic in this country is political corruption. Good for thee, but not for me. So sick of the hypocrisy. I'm with you, big bro. I'm with you. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Let's hear this out, though.
It's important that attorneys general representing.
Why is she so like aggressive? Like this is it's like, oh my God, this aggressive energy. It's like we all see it. You know what's so funny? When you don't call stuff out, it becomes a huge issue. And what's going on in my mind, I don't even know if it has anything specifically to do with Letitia James, but actually what I'm thinking in my head is that there's so many people that recognize, in my opinion, what's happening with women, recognize specifically with Black women, how they've been turned to become such aggressive fighters for causes that don't even benefit them, but in my opinion, just have been finessed into doing it. But men are so scared to call it out. Men are so scared to call it out. And even on the other conversations, as a matter of fact, I'm going to play that Charleston White clip after this. But even on some of the other conversations, when I remember Nick Fuentes, when he put up the video saying that he doesn't want to live around Black people because Black people are violent, all this other stuff. Perhaps this is why that doesn't trigger me as much as it may have triggered me before, and as much as it triggers maybe a lot of other people. Because sometimes your enemies will call out problems that friends are too scared to call out. Sometimes your enemies can say certain things that you know deep down that you should and need to address, but you're too scared to say something. This whole aggressive women energy, the need to fight, whether it's AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Ayanna Pressley, Letitia James, whether it's Sunny Houston on The View, whether it's Carrie Champion, the one that was on ESPN, now she's on CNN. She was just on CNN 2 weeks ago saying, I don't even care, pretty much saying like she doesn't even care. They just need to fight against something. When I hear people rationalizing the stuff that Jasmine Crockett does, it's like, damn, where are the men that are going to call out this type of stuff? That are going to call out the fact like, oh, maybe this is getting a little bit, it's going a little bit too far overboard. But if you do that, then you're not going to get celebrated. You're not going to have Taylor Lorenz tell you that you're an honorable person because we look at Luigi Mangione, somebody who's willing to crash out for what? As a hero. Y'all know I'm going off on another tangent. I just can't stand cowardly men, bro. I just really can't. I just really see us as just growing up in a society right now with cowardly men. And it every time I think of an issue, every time I think of a problem, I just really, even with the aggression in the women that I'm calling out, I'm not even calling that out. That's just is what it is. We can just look at it and see it. But where are the men that are too scared to call out this type of stuff? Look at society. Look around at society, where we are right now in the world. How emotional we are when we looking at anything. It's not manly energy and it's not male leadership. And it's just, it needs to be called out. And y'all probably wondering like, damn, he just heard 3 seconds of her speaking, because it's just off. Yo, it's not natural. It's not, I don't like it. I'm just being totally honest with y'all.
It's important that attorneys general representing.
Let me hold on. Let me catch up with the comments. My fault. Anthony's wrote, so true. That's why it be hurting so bad, because it really be the truth. When people call, yo, and Anthony's is referring to when a guy like Nick Fuentes calls out a lot of this stuff. That's what Anthony's is referring to. Let me hold on. Antro, do you believe the agenda America has at play is set to destroy Black men specifically, or heterosexual men, both or neither? Bro, I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't think that this is a like when people think that the country is out to destroy Black men. That is like, how can I put it? It's like the start of the NBA or the NFL season and us worrying about the old Cleveland Browns. They're in last place. We are in last place. Nobody is targeting us, in my opinion. We haven't even earned the right to be targeted. We are at the bottom of the, like, we're at the bottom. Matter of fact, the reason why, in my opinion, the Democrats had to bring in all these migrants is damn near because we become so complacent with our energy that they like, damn, we need another group to take advantage of and to push our initiatives. These folk, they just lazy. They expecting stuff to come their way. You got Jasmine Crockett out here saying we're done picking cotton. Nobody wants to farm. Like, black people are in, who would waste time, effort, and energy trying to target a particular group that is destroying themselves? Like, why would I even waste ammo on them? It's like if an animal's dying, like, do you shoot a dead animal? Why would I waste a bullet on that person if I don't need a bullet for that person? They're killing themselves. We've destroyed ourselves. But because we've allowed Democrats and this victimhood mentality, these woke ideologies to force us to, or to convince us to embrace this type of victimhood, now we don't even, like, we just sit back and expect something to happen. We're waiting for reparations. No, I don't think that there's a targeted agenda on black men. Like, like the fact that we're questioning it now and we haven't addressed what happened, let's say, with the crime bill and how black men were taken out of the family and all these different things. And I don't even think you need to target black men. Like what are we targeting? It's literally like, bro, you're in last place. We're not really worried about y'all like that. Y'all need to be worried about these migrants that we're bringing in that are going to replace y'all. That's what y'all need to be worried about. All these people that y'all celebrating and trying to prevent them from being deported. All these people, they're coming in, and watch them outcompete with, they're not going to compete with the people, the elites that the Democrats try to convince y'all to hate. They're not going to be competing with them. They're going to be competing with the people at the bottom. We showed y'all this. We show y'all the table all the time when it comes to black household income. When it comes to American household income, black Americans are at the bottom of that list. So who do you think these migrants that are coming in, who do you think they're about to compete with? The Indian Americans that are in first place? No, the Indian Americans that are in first place are going to hire these migrants that come in instead of hiring lazy, entitled black people who want to convince ourselves we're at the bottom and we don't even know who we want to compete against. We're at the bottom of this totem pole. White Americans are not even doing well. Let's just look at it like that. Y'all are like 7th or 8th place. But black people at the bottom, white supremacy. Haven't y'all, like, do y'all grasp this American first movement? Like, white Americans are not at the top. Other countries, I don't know. And the question is, I don't know anything, bro. I don't know any of this. I'm just talking ish. I'm just giving my opinion. Ant wrote, asking for clarification. So you don't see an agenda set in place to emasculate men. You're saying it's happening because it's just happening, or it's an illusion? No, there's definitely an agenda to emasculate men. It's a weak agenda, in my opinion. It's an agenda, and it's one that I embarrassingly have to admit that it has worked against us. As weak of an agenda as it is, it definitely has worked. Look at what's happening in the leadership of the Democratic Party. Look at what has happened in the leadership of our households. It's very simple simple when I look at it. What did we talk about earlier? The things that you celebrate within your culture, those are the things that people are going to want to align themselves with, because everybody wants to receive praise. Everybody wants people to think highly of them. That's just how it goes. So if you have a family structure, or if you have a society that convinces a whole bunch of women to chase career, to chase being a CEO, to chase having a job, to chase making 90,000 or six, whatever it may be, over having a family. And then when you combine that with men that now that we're competing, I mean, I'm not making an excuse, it just is what it is. Now you got men that are competing in the same industries as women. So the dynamics are totally different. It just is what it is. Now, I'm not giving an excuse for men, not at all, but that dynamics are different. So when we say we want these old school loves and women say that they want relationships like their grandfather or all this other stuff that came, the dynamics were totally different in those situations. It was a lot easier, in my opinion, for men to stand on being men back then. Why? Because a woman did not want to compete in the same areas that a lot of those traditional men were competing in. There was a need. There was a accepted need where it's like, I need you, because if I don't have a husband, then I can't survive out here. And the need has always been accepted as far as the men with the women. It's still accepted now. If you want to have a family, you need a woman, because you don't want to do all those other things. You know exactly. We do a bad job of celebrating women, in my opinion, but we know damn well that we need a woman to have to have a household. I don't see too many men running around here saying we don't need no women. Like, that's kind of weird. But the opposite is true. A lot of these movements, whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's the LGBTQ movement, they are targeting removing men from the household. Black Lives Matter, we talk about it all the time. Their mission statement was to destroy the traditional male-led household. I don't know. Steve wrote, one can't bring about the type of change that's going on with a country full of moral, family-oriented men with a warrior spirit. One can't bring about the type of change that's going on in the country full of more. Yeah, they've emasculated men. They've taken, it's like they've done different strategies at different times. The crime bill removed Black men from the household, right? Okay, cool. Now they realize, like, how do we now address the white men? Like, how do we get, and you use different strategies to in my opinion, to accomplish different things. And even though it may be looking to accomplish the same thing, you have to use different strategies when it comes to different groups, because different groups just move differently. It just is what it is. So the destruction of white men, in my opinion, white men being targeted. To answer your question, white men are being targeted more than Black men, in my opinion. The white man has been targeted more than the Black man, in my opinion. Like, everything about the white man for the last maybe 8 years has been why the white man is so terrible, why the white man is oppressive, all these different things. And for a lot of white people complaining about maybe you should take a step back and understand the comforts that a lot of these white men created for you by prioritizing maybe you and yours. I don't know. I'm just saying. There has been, you know what it's been? Just like we talk about the things that you celebrate in your culture and society, those are the things that people are going to want to align themselves with. Look at the things that we've looked down upon in our culture and our society. The male role, like it's almost like a strong man is seen as just less than. Like, we want to celebrate the man that just empowers the woman, that allows the woman to do whatever she wants, that allows her women to wear whatever clothes that she wants to wear, that is going to convinces men that, hey, if you don't allow your women to dress naked in public, then it's just because of your own insecurities. This is just what we deal with. This is just what we deal with. And it's, yeah. So Ant wrote, so people are giving it more power than the effect of the actual agenda itself. This is almost like it. What you just said reminds me of something that I just read in that Alchemist, where it was like the fear of fear, or the fear. What did it say? it said the fear of something bad happening is always worse than the actual thing that happens when it's bad. I'm not sure if y'all get what I'm saying. The fear is always more. We give things more power. We give things more power. And a lot of it's just because when you stand up and speak on some of these things, you're going to turn people off. You're going to trigger certain people. But what happens is the more that we go on without addressing a lot of these things, without being real and exposing a lot of these things, it's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse and harder to speak on certain things. Just my opinion. Shout out to my little bro, Michael, in the building. What's up, little bro? Steve wrote, anything that bears a shred of testosterone has been labeled toxic masculinity. Anything that has been labeled, let me put that back up on the screen. Anything that bears a shred of testosterone has been labeled toxic masculinity. Women are allowed to be more masculine than men. Matter of fact, if men were behaving how a lot of the women were behaving, we would label it as toxic masculinity. If women were behaving how a lot of men are behaving, we would label it as toxic masculinity. If men came out and said a lot of the things and moved in the type of way that a lot of these women are moving, we would say it's toxic masculinity. We would, but it's all just the pendulum swing. All right, Ant wrote, that's because feeling itself is reality. When you feel something, it has already been manifested in your mind and body. That's a fact. That's a fact. All right, let me get back to the actual clip of Letitia that I wanted to show before I went off on that tangent. My apologies.
It's important that attorneys general representing our respective states stand up and enforce the rule of law. The president of these United States is not above the law.
No matter how rich, powerful, or politically connected you are, everyone must play by the same rules.
You sue him for—
Yo, I'll be honest, man. Sometimes I be wishing things go back to those gladiator days, man. Like sometimes I really wish that things go back to these gladiator days when you're forced to stay in shape, when moving with logic will save lives, when being emotional, you'll see the fruits that emotional tree bears, where you have to be held accountable for your actions, where you can't just talk to people any type of way. Sometimes I wish we go back to those days, because all this is just fake. It's just Letitia James just trying to be a man. This is just Letitia James. Listen to how she speaks, like the tone of it makes me so upset. Not really, but yeah, it does actually. It pisses me off. Like, it just like, damn. It doesn't make me upset because of her. It just makes me upset because it's just like, damn, this is really where we're at right now. If I got up and made a speech like, we are, nobody is above the, like, what it, like, gosh, got me saying like now. I just don't understand it. And listen to what she's getting ready to say right now. You don't think that this is the type of person that weaponized her position of power against Donald Trump? Listen to what she's about to say.
Or politically connected you are, everyone must play by the same rules.
You sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the
And now the Trump.
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a big pain in his. But what if Trump said that? What if a white man said that? A white with a Y said that? Women, they're allowed to do whatever they want. They're allowed to do whatever they want. And it has destroyed our society. I really want us to sit back, and I had a conversation. Hold on. I'm sorry, I keep going off on these tangents, but I really want us to sit back, because I had a conversation the other day with my bro. And you know what it was about? He called me out. He called me out and he said, like, yo, you speaking a little bit differently. like now. You're being a little bit more calculated, not as aggressive, not as direct. And I'm just like, damn, I just tried to, I actually think about those things. I try to be conscious of how I'm coming across, the things that I'm saying, how I'm impacting people, not just wanting to be right if that means that it's not actually being effective. We had a conversation like, do you want to be right or do you want to be effective? Do you want to turn people off, hurt their feelings, but stand on the fact that I nailed my point home? Or do you actually want to bring about some type of change? And it's something that I've been thinking about a lot, because it's like, is that feeding into more of the problem? Is that feeding into more of what we see right now? Is that the pandering that I can't stand? Or is that me just adjusting my communication style? Because I'll be totally honest with y'all. I don't know if the adjusting my communication style actually works. I don't know if, a lot of people, like, you could be in a conversation with your relationship, all this stuff. Well, I don't like when you talk to me like this or da, 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 da. It's never, in my opinion, it's very rarely about how you're saying it. It's what you're saying. It's about the fact that you're holding somebody accountable. It's the fact that they're used to men just allowing them to get away with everything and anything from their daddy on. So there's no respect of male leadership across the board. And maybe I'm going on a tangent, but I just really have these questions. I'm always trying to figure out how I can communicate most effectively. Going back to that spy video that the spy gave advice on, when he said perception versus perspective. I always want to make sure that I'm not just seeing things from my perspective and saying, hey, this is the harsh truth, but I'm approaching it with some perception to give people grace, to gain some empathy for some individuals, so I can have an understanding of, well, this is that person's experience, this is what they're going through. But I'll be totally honest with you. It seems to be that the people that are giving grace are the ones that shouldn't be given grace on the things that they're standing on. Meanwhile, the people that are pushing the weird stuff, they give no grace. So I'm just tired of it. I'm just really tired of it. It's annoying. And this is why I say it always goes back to the men. Like, the men are such cowards these days. So I gotta look at myself and say, like, bro, are you standing on the things that you should be standing on? Like, even across the board. Like, I get into certain situations where I'm just like, yo, who are you talking to? Like, who, like how do like, it's just insane. This is why I said maybe I wish things go back to those gladiator days. When I watch these Wild West movies, you couldn't just say things to certain people. Even, we laughed a little bit with the Terrence Howard video that he put up a couple weeks ago, talking about, all y'all people that are online disrespecting me. Like, eventually you're going to have to see me. And if it's not respectful, then it can end in a duel. And we were kind of just clowning it. One day we're going to sit back, and I don't know whether it'll be in my lifetime or another lifetime, but we're going to sit back and realize how much we should have appreciated testosterone and strong men, rather than the weak men and weak mindsets and emotional energy that get us involved in a lot of these situations that we don't need to get ourselves involved in. The ones that have us tearing down a country after George Floyd passes away. The ones that it's just all the same. Let's finish this video. My fault. Finish this video.
Oh, we're going to definitely assume we're going to be a real pain in the.
And now the Trump Justice Department may be a pain in her you-know-what. The Angle has obtained shocking allegations leveled by the Trump administration against New York Attorney General Letitia James. The Federal Housing Finance Agency has sent a criminal referral to the DOJ accusing James of mortgage fraud. In a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Director Bill Pulte says James appears to have falsified records in order to meet certain lending requirements and receive favorable loan terms.
It's important that attorneys general representing our respective states stand up and enforce the rule of law. The president of these United States.
All right. We already went through that. We'll finish off that other video that we watched and then move on from here. Let's finish off with Jim Jordan.
Yeah, well, these are allegations, and we'll see what happens. But, I mean, no one is above the law, so she should be welcoming any investigation into this. And, Congressman, Attorney General James is now asking for money in the midst of all this. She's launched a fundraiser in the form of an event next Tuesday calling for contributions starting at $500, going all the way up to $18,000, which is the maximum allowed by New York state law. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, this is I guess typical activity from Letitia. Remember, she campaigned on that she was going to go after President Trump. This was a classic case of pick the person and go find the crime. Now, I don't think there was any crime there, but she did. Maybe the appropriate penalty for her, if the DOJ prosecutes, maybe the appropriate penalty for her is $350 million fine, because that's what President Trump had to pay, for goodness sake.
All right, moving on. So Ant wrote, hold on, let me catch up with this comment here. Masculinity, pride, some ego, testosterone with bounds is necessary to be a man, in my opinion. Yo, I don't know what's going to happen with, and I think relationships, it just shows up in relationships the most. I think in relationships, a lot of these things just show up the most. And I think this may be a time where we probably are least compatible, like men and women. It's probably times where, at least in Western society, probably are times where we are the least compatible to be in a relationship. We didn't grow up learning about relationships. We didn't, most of us grow up without two-parent households. Most of us don't get the opportunity to see how a man and woman work in a household, to lead a household. Most of our boys were raising to be just soft, and we're raising our women to be just hard and strong. Like, that's just what happens. When I have conversations with women that are 70 years old and they're still standing on the fact that, like, you could tell that they're still hurt by things that happened 60 years ago in their life, and they're allowing those experiences to set their mindset for 60 years later. That's what men and women do right now. It's just so we're in a tough place. We're in a tough place. We're in a tough place. Steve wrote, "You're right, Anthony. It's been going on for decades." We're in a tough place. But you know what? The good thing about being in such a tough place is eventually things are going to come to a head. I don't know if that's going to be a war. I don't know if that's going to be a race war, but maybe we should think back to how scared we were with the flu that they rebranded, no different than rebranding a woman or identify as he, him, they, them. Right? That's what the flu did. The flu changed its pronouns to COVID-19. And look what that did to our country. The race war that a lot of people are getting caught up in and pushing, condoning, I don't know if we're ready for that. And I don't know, well, I'm not ready for that. I don't want a race war. But it's going to be very telling, or perhaps that's what we need to reset things. Perhaps that's what we need to kind of value some things that we haven't been valuing. Right? It's almost like, well, if I don't really feel if I don't have to work out, then I'm not going to work out. Oh, but I got to pass this physical fitness exam. Okay, now I'm going to start working out. Perhaps there needs to be some urgency for us to move in ways because we haven't taken the responsibility and accountability on ourselves. So there's going to be now outside influences that come in that force us to make those changes. I don't know, but it's going to be very interesting to see how a lot of this stuff plays out. It's going to be interesting to see how a lot of this emotional energy that is pushed in our communities, pushed throughout the communities. It's not just a black thing. It's not just a white thing. This is a American thing, maybe a humanity type of thing. I don't know. I can't tell you what the feeling is across the world, but in America, it just seems like there needs to be some sort of reset because things are just getting crazier and crazier. It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.